Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. It's Rock and Roll Country with a bit of a different video than normal. I mean, not, it's all still somewhat the same, but still kind of different. So last week we didn't do a building theme on account of the fact that there was a sealed event for the recently released DC Rebirth set. And so, let's take a look at... One, what we pulled, well, okay, as best as I can remember, but a week later. And two, what I played. And three, highlights from the rest of the set, aside from the boosters I pulled. So, okay. So, looking at what we pulled, we'll be going through these in their numerical order. First off, pulled Deathstroke. And to be personally honest, this is the... well, we'll get into a breakdown. Deathstroke comes in at 100 points. He's got the team player ability, which is a bad guy wild card, or, well, wild card ability. And he's got the Hive, Society, Suicide Squad, Assassin, Martial Arts, and Soldier keywords, as well as Improved Movement ignores hindering terrain. And finally a trait. Remember, we're getting paid. When Deathstroke KOs one or more opposing characters with an attack, after resolutions, heal Deathstroke 2 clicks. Woot. He opens up with a special speed power called The Best There Is, which gives him charge and running shot. That gives way to a couple clicks of sidestep, followed by a click of stealth. Then we've got some penetrating psychic blast, followed up on attack, followed up by Blade's Claw's Fangs. He's indomitable, so built-in willpower, yay. He opens up with invulnerability, which gives way to combat reflexes, which gives way to regeneration on defense. Then on damage, we open up with a few clicks of exploit weakness, followed by a few clicks of ranged combat expert. All in all, a very solid figure. There are very few things I would do to make this a better figure. Excuse me. Next up, we have Nightwing. Nightwing will eventually be the subject of a old and busted versus new hotness. But today, I'm looking at this one. Anyways, he comes in at 75 points or 50 points. He's got the Batman Ally and Teen Titans team abilities, as well as the Batman Family, Teen Titans, and Martial Arts keywords. Also, he has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. And he has the Titans Reborn trait. When he is given a move action after resolutions, he can use the Titans team ability at no cost. Now looking at the dial, we've got a few clicks of running shot, followed by a few clicks of flurry, a few clicks of incapacitate. On attack, on defense, we got some initial deflection, followed by some combat reflexes. On damage, we open up with a special power. Does your utility belt still have a fax machine too? Gives him leadership, and as a free action, you can choose either close combat expert, range combat expert, perplex, or outwit to use until the end of your next turn. After that, he's got regular perplex. All right. Also, to be perfectly honest, he's not my ideal Nightwing, but I've seen worse. Next up, we've got Duke Thomas, a new addition to DC, and a new character introduced via DC Rebirth. So, anyway, Duke comes in at 35 points. He's got the Gotham City and Martial Arts keywords, and the trait We Are Robin. Friendly characters making close attacks modify attack +1 for each other friendly character opposed adjacent to, I presume, because it's misworded, to them. Alright, look at the dial. We got a couple clicks of charge, followed by a couple clicks of leap climb. On attack, opens up blank and then goes into quake. On defense, we open up with toughness, which gives way to combat reflexes. On damage, we open up with a power, which gives way to shape change. Next up, we have Superman. This is not Clark Kent / Kal-El. This is actually the Superman of China. Anyway, so Superman comes in at 150 points or 75 points. He has the Superman Ally Team ability, which allows him to move and see through hindering terrain, though he flies, so hindering terrain is not a problem for him. Anyway, he's also got the Justice League of China, Celebrity, Martial Arts, and Mystical keywords. He would have liked him too. We got a couple of traits. First off, Ministry of Self-Reliance. Superman has Protected, Perplex, and Probability Control, but both only from characters without the Justice League of China keyword. Okay. Next up is Focus my key where I need it most. At the beginning of your turn, choose a combat value. Modify the chosen value +1 until your next turn. If you started at 150 points, modify it +2 instead. Okay. Then we got some charge, some hypersonic speed, some force blast on speed. On attack, we've got a few clicks of super strength. Defensively speaking, we've got some impervious, followed by some vulnerabilities, followed by some toughness. Damage, we open up with willpower, which gives away probability control. And then, after a blank click and back to prob, we finish up with a couple clicks of Range Combat Expert. Alrighty, onto the uncommons we pulled. We've got, next up is Deathstroke with a cape. Okay, so this is Deathstroke from the Defiance team, which is his superhero team. Anyway, Deathstroke here comes in at 75 points. Oh, excuse me. He's got the Defiance, Assassin, Martial Arts, and Soldier keywords. A couple of traits as well. First off, remember, we're the good guys. When Deathstroke hits one or more opposing characters with an attack, but none are KO'd, after resolutions, roll a d6. On a 3, 4, 5, or 6, heal Deathstroke 1 click. Okay. And we've got Once the Terminator, Now the Protector. Adjacent friendly characters with the Defiance keyword can use Mastermind, but only to choose Deathstroke. If Deathstroke was damaged by an opponent's attack since your last turn, modify his attack and defense by +1. And I completely forgot. I basically ignored that entire trait in the games I played with because it started with the Defiance bit, and I only pulled him from Defiance. So yeah. All right, so got a couple clicks of Running Shot, a couple clicks of Charge, and followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep. On attack, we've got ourselves a few clicks of Incapacitate, followed by a few clicks of Precision Strike. On defense, we've got special power Icon Soup Kinetic Dispersal, which gives him Defend and Toughness. That's followed up by a couple clicks of Combat Reflexes, and then a click of Regeneration. On damage, we open up with a couple clicks of Leadership, then a couple clicks of Empower, and finally a couple clicks of Close Combat Expert. Moving on, we've got Steel from the Detroit era of the Justice League. Steel is also one of 3 members of the Haywood family to be featured in HeroClix. Well, not featured in Heroes. Be featured in DC Comics. Anyway, Steel comes in at 90 points and has the JLA keyword, or team ability. He's also got the Justice League keyword and the Robot keyword. And finally, the trait, the Haywood Legacy. When Steel is hit with a close attack, after resolutions, deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. So it's a modified version of the Mystics team ability. We got a couple clicks of Charge, a couple clicks of Sidestep, then a few clicks of Leap Climb. Nothing on attack, sadly. Not even Super Strength, which he should have. Defensively speaking, we open up with, well, first off, he's got Impervious, and he's got the special power Behind Me, people. Impervious. As a free action until your next turn, Steel can use Invulnerability instead of Impervious, and he has adjacent friendly characters, modified defense +1. Okay. Back his way to Invulnerability, then Toughness. He starts off blank on damage, but then gives way to 6 straight clicks of Close Combat Expert. So, yeah. Next up, we've got Phobos. I'm pretty sure. with Steel, I'm pretty sure I pulled him. Not 100% certain, but pretty sure. Anyway, Phobos comes in at 55 points and has the Mystic's team ability, meaning when he's damaged, the attacker gets that one penetrating damage. He's also got the Godwatch, Deity, and Monster keywords, and 2 traits. First off is Paralyzed with Fear. Opposing characters within 4 squares can't automatically break away and decrease the result of their breakaway roll by -1. Well, decrease the results of their breakaway roll by 1. Next up is Son of Ares. As a unique modifier, if Phobos is within 4 squares of a friendly character named Deimos, modify both their attacks by +1. Then we got some sidestep, followed by some phasing, a click of super strength, then some invulnerability, followed by super senses, and finally some shape change. Next up, we've got Billy Batson, whose inclusion in the set, I'm sure, has nothing to do with a certain movie that was released about a month before the set. Within a month of this, about a month before the set came out. I'm sure there. Well, to be fair, okay. Yeah, it doesn't because these are planned out like well in advance. So yeah. Anyway, Billy Batson comes in at either 40 or 20 points. He's got Fawcett City, Justice League International, Justice Society, Mystical, and Reporter keywords. On speed, we got the special power, The World Needs to Know Your Sins. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose an opposing character within 4 squares in line of fire. Until your next turn, that character can't be given free actions. Okay. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of willpower, and then on the last click, we've got the special power Shazam. Stop click, but only once per game. If it was revealed by damage from an opponent's attack and you paid 40 points for Billy, after resolutions, replace him with 37A Shazam on click number 6. This game, that Shazam can't be healed above click number 6, and when KO'd, instead scores 40 points. Then on damage, we got a click of Perplex, followed by a couple clicks of Shape Change. Next up, the rares. First off, we've got Dolphin. Anyway, Dolphin comes in at 30 points, has no team ability, and the Atlantis and Forgotten Heroes keywords. We also got a Triggered Mutation. As a free action, turn Dolphin's dial to the same click number of a different color. As you can see with the way her dial is set up, she's basically got 2 3-click deep dials. And you can go back and forth once per turn. Alright. So the first dial, we got some sidestep on movement, some incapacitate on attack, some super senses on defense, shape change followed by empower on damage. On the second click, we open up with a special power on speed, on the run from authorities, charge, and plasticity. When she uses charge, she occupies water terrain. She does not have her speed. Okay, I like that. Then on attack, we open up with Blaze Claw's Fang, which gives way to Precision Strike. On defense, open up with invulnerability, followed by a couple clicks of Toughness, and then on damage, she's got Battle Fury. Alright, I mean, the trick with this is remembering to, remember, kind of if anything, reading the room, and figure out when to go back and forth on the dial. Next up, we've got, and finally, we have Red Hood. I really dig that sculpt. Not even gonna lie. So, Red Hood comes in at 75 points. He's got the Outsiders and Batman Ally team abilities. He's also got the Batman Family, Outlaws, and Martial Artists keywords, and Improved Movement ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. Finally, we got 3 traits. First up, Dark Trinity. When Red Hood attacks, modify attack +1 for each other friendly character with the Outlaws keyword adjacent to the target. The idea is that you got him on a team with Artemis and Bizarro from the set. But there are some other characters that also have the Outlaws keyword, so yeah. Next up, we have Sometimes I Just Do Things to Annoy People. When Red Hood hits one or more characters, after resolutions, roll a d6. On a 4 or 5, a hit character modifies attack -2 until your next turn. On a 6, all hit characters modify attack -2 until your next turn. Finally, we've got strict rule from Batman: no killing. Unless Red Hood's the only character on your force, when he would KO an opposing character with an attack, instead, that character is not KO'd and it turns their last non-KO click and heal Red Hood 1 click. Okay. Look at the dial, we get some running shot, then sidestep, then plasticity for a couple clicks, then back to sidestep, then back to running shot. On attack, we get energy explosion, some literal mid-dial poison, and then end-dial energy explosion. Toughness for a couple clicks, combat reflexes for a couple clicks, back to toughness for a couple clicks. And then starts and ends blank, and then we've got exploit weakness, then a couple clicks of probability control, and back to exploit weakness in the middle. So, what did I end up running? Now, usually when a new set comes out, they lately have been very tightly themed, so it's actually fairly easy to build a theme team out of 2 boosters. This was not the case here. DC Rebirth is actually very loose when it comes to the themes in it, so yeah. Anywho, so what I ended up doing was I put together a martial artist team because I really wanted to use this Deathstroke and Nightwing and Red Hood. Which left me with, since I started Nightwing on his 50-point dial, that left me with 75 points. So I opted to run this Deathstroke as well. All in all, first game with this quartet, I went, I scored my opponent's entire team. Next 2 games, I scored no points at all. But honestly, it's not a bad team, it's just when you have bad rolls, what do you do? And with it being a generic theme team, I had no theme team probs, so... And I had no regular probability controls, so I was kind of screwed. No matter what. Anyway, so now we've done the building the team portion of this video. So let's look now at some other highlights of the set. As I also picked up a case, and was therefore able to have a very wide sampling of figures from the set. So we'll start off with our chase figures. First up is Devastator. Now, first off, some information about the chase figures from the set. The set's chase figures are based on the Dark Knights from the recent Dark Knights Metal story. In the Dark Multiverse, there exist various Earths where things went wrong for Batman, and these are basically Batman combined with another character. Usually, in all but 2 cases, it's a member of the League. However, in 2 cases, the Batman Who Laughs and the Devastator, it's really more Batman combined with a villain. In this case, Doomsday. So, the Devastator comes in at 225 points or 150 points. He's got the Dark Knight's Brute and Monster keywords. 3 traits. First off, Reckless Disregard for Life. Once per turn, when the Devastator targets and hits a single opposing character with a close attack, after resolutions, Deal each other character that is adjacent to either the Devastator or the target 1 penetrating damage. This includes friendly characters and usually the target. Next up, we will not hide in the shadows anymore. When the Devastator occupies clear terrain and is targeted by a ranged attack, modify defense +1. When targeted by an opposing character that can use stealth, modify defense +1. When targeted by an opposing character occupying hindering terrain, modify defense +1. And the modifiers all stack, so yeah, he can have a starting defense with modifiers of 22. Finally, we have the Doomsday Virus. As a free action, choose an opposing character that the Devastator hit this turn and give that character a Doomsday Virus token. This game, characters modify their combat abilities +1 for every 2 Doomsday Virus tokens they have. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6 for each character with a Doomsday Virus token. If the result is equal or less than the number of Doomsday Virus tokens that character has, deal that character 1 unavoidable damage for each Doomsday token they have. Then, give them a Doomsday Virus token. Alright, so look at the dial. We get some charge, some sidestep, back to charge, back to sidestep, and then finally some flurry. On attack, we get some super strength, then some poison, then back to super strength, then back to poison, then steel energy. Defensively speaking, he's got indomitable, so built-in willpower, yay. And invincible, then impervious, and then invulnerability. On damage, starts off blank, and then we've got with a printed 5 damage. Yeah, a printed 5 damage. Then we get a couple clicks of Close Combat Expert. Then back to a blank click, this time with a printed 4. And then the remaining 6 clicks of the dial have Close Combat Expert. Yeah, he's kind of a badass. Now, I got lucky and somehow managed to pull 2 chases. This one being the Drowned. This is Batwoman, Bryce Wayne, combined with Aquaman. I'm not sure if it's Aquawoman or Aquaman in the story, but the Aquaman analog from that Earth. Same keywords. We've got Atlantis, Dark Knights, Monster, and Pirate. No team ability. Comes in at 150 points or 75 points. 3 traits. First off is Batwoman at Earth 11. Stealth. Water terrain is considered hindering terrain for line of fire purposes. Everywhere on the map. If the Drowned occupies water terrain, she deals penetrating damage. Okay. Then we got Reckless Disregard for Life, and we will not hide in the shadows anymore, just like Devastator. Then looking at the dial, we get a click of charge, followed by a couple clicks of shape change, then 2 more clicks of charge, and 3 clicks of shape change. A full dial of poison. She's indomitable. Then we've got an opening click, defensively speaking, of Invincible, followed by a couple clicks of Impervious, followed up by a couple clicks of Super Senses, followed by 3 clicks of Combat Reflexes. Then the latter half of her dial on damage is where her 1 damage power resides, and it's Empower. 4 straight clicks of Empower. Alright, next up we've got Clayface. You're probably saying, Clayface, why would Clayface be a high point? One, it's because it's fairly recent, based on recent stories, and has Clayface as a Batman ally. You know, kind of saying, hey, I'm sick of being a bad guy, so, you know, let's do the hero thing. Alright, so Clayface comes in at an even 100 points and has the Batman Ally Team ability. Then we've got Batman Family, Gotham City, Celebrity, and Monster keywords. And now, alright, look at the dial. On speed, we open up with a special power, the old Brick and Mace. Flurry, Plasticity, Sidestep. When Clayface uses Flurry, choose that either the first or second attack will deal penetrating damage. After resolutions, give a character hit by the other attack an action token. That gives way to charge for the remaining 3 clicks. On attack, we open up with Poison, which gives way to Mass of Moving Mud. Poison, Knockback. When he hits with a close attack, after resolutions, you may place him adjacent to a hit target. Okay. Then on defense, we've got a couple clicks of Invincible, then a couple clicks of Impervious, followed by a couple clicks of the special power Clay Armor, Defend, and Invulnerability. Then on damage, we open up with Shape Change, which gives way to the special power I Tried It Your Way. Shape Change, and as a free action until your next turn, Close Combat Expert, giant damage symbol, and he can't use stealth. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Next up, we've got Mr. Oz. This is a figure that's more interesting due to what he does than who he is. Well, okay, he's also interesting because of who he is. That who being Jor-El. Yeah, Superman's father, Jor-El. It's part of what they're building up to with the Watchmen characters. That basically, Dr. Manhattan has been manipulating things in the DC universe of late, which relates to which relates to the story Doomsday Clock, and other portions of this include the Oz Effect in Action Comics, which featured Mr. Oz, and the Button, which had Flash and Batman investigating the comedian's button. Okay, so Mr. Oz comes in at either 100 points or 40 points. Has the Batman family, or has the Superman family and Hyper Time team abilities, as well as the Kryptonian, Cosmic, and Scientist keywords, and the trait Waiting for the Time to Be Right. If Mr. Oz has 40 points, he's KO'd when his dial clicks past the red KO line. Protected. Pulse Wave. Okay. Then we've got, look at the dial, we got a couple clicks of Stealth, then a couple clicks of the special speed power, Technologies of My Own Design. Free action. Place Mr. Oz in a square within 6 squares. Okay. Notice it's a square within 6 squares, not 6 squares in line of fire. Also, note that it says place, not move. After that, we get a few clicks of Sidestep. On attack, we open up with special power, Intercept Projection. Telekinesis. Whenever a character is placed by telekinesis, after resolutions, you may place that character within 2 squares in line of fire of their current square. And again, it's whenever a character is placed, not whenever a character within range and line of fire is placed. That gives way to a couple clicks of penetrating second blast. Then on defense, we've got super senses followed by special power. The Time is Right. It's a stop click. He's got Invincible, and he can't be healed above that click. Okay, that gives way to Impervious and then Invulnerability. And on damage, we open up with the special power Manipulate from Another Dimension. Probability control with a range value of 12. When he uses it, he can use Improved Targeting, ignores blocking terrain, elevated terrain, and characters. And he can already ignore hindering terrain because of the Superman Ally Team ability. So, yeah. You can't... Oh, this guy's going to be one of the meta pieces of the game, of the set. And I'm actually kind of glad I pulled him, because that means it's going to be easier for me to actually, as I've already got a good chunk of the set, I want to try and complete it. So, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, after manipulate from another dimension. He's got shape change, and then on his last 3 clicks, range combat expert. Alrighty. Moving on, we've got Bombshell Black Canary. Now, the Bombshell figures are based on a series of statues. Bombshells. They're inspired quite a bit by things like the paintings, the artwork that we painted on the sides of like bombs and bombers during World War II. It usually had a rather attractive woman and some message, something nice to say, to the something that would energize the crew about being on board. Due to the popularity of the statues, however, they ended up getting their own Earth in the DC multiverse, and the various statues have been fleshed out into full-on characters. Some of which have some similar aspects to the character, to the mainline characters. Not all of them, though. Anyway, so Black Canary comes in at 65 points. She's got the bombshells and celebrity keywords, as well as improved movement and ignores characters. She also has 2 traits. First off is Bombshell. When Black Canary makes an attack targeting an opposing character, give her a Bombshell token. Notice it makes an attack, not hits with an attack, makes an attack. As a free action, if she has 2 action tokens, you can remove 2 Bombshell tokens and then make a close attack. Next up is Rockin' Live and Ringin' Heads. Force Blast. As a free action, you may remove a Bombshell token. If you do, on this turn, all knockback caused by friendly characters is doubled, and opposing characters who use charge or combat reflexes can be knocked back. I'm going to be hard pressed to keep Bombshell tokens on her. Damn. Anyway, look at the dial. We open up with Running Shot, which gives way to Sidestep on speed. On attack, we open up with a special power, Jive and Wail. Pulse Wave. When Black Canary uses it, you may remove a Bombshell token. If you do, after resolutions, give an action token to each hit opposing character. That's not too shabby, in the slightest. That gives way to regular Pulse Wave, by the way. Then we've got, on defense, some super senses followed by some willpower. Then on damage, we've got some shape change for the first click, and then 4 more clicks of perplex. All right, next up, and I'm happy about this because it's a character I enjoy and have been waiting to see in clicks for well over a decade. Cyclone. Cyclone is a member of the Justice Society. She is a legacy member. I believe it's her grandmother was the original Red Tornado. She has, obviously, wind powers. She was added to the Justice Society about the same time that I was actually getting into JSA. So, and I remember back during with the Origins set, the map which had the JSA museum and had statues in it of the various members of the JSA included a statue of Cyclone, though she had yet to be done. I was kind of saying, oh yes, we're using sculpts from previous sets, versions of the characters to we're using for the statues, basically sculpt designs, including some that have yet to be made. Like I said, over 10 years later, we finally get her. But anyway, so Cyclone comes in at 50 points and has the JSA team ability, allowing her to share her defense value with a friendly adjacent character who also has the JSA team ability, or at least can use it. And she has the Justice Society keyword. And a trait, Blown Away, Force Blast, Telekinesis. Once per turn, when Cyclone uses either, after resolutions, she may use the other one at no cost, but only to target the same opposing character. So she could, for example, use Telekinesis to drag someone adjacent to her and then Force Blast them, say, into a wall. Or right into your... or you could Force Blast someone into, say... basically a hit squad. Alright, so look at the dial. We get some one click of running shot, 4 clicks of sidestep, opens up with nothing on attack, which gives way to, then we get a couple clicks of quick and a couple clicks of incapacitate. On defense, we open up with toughness, which gives way to inertial deflection. That's her dial. I'm really just happy to see her because I've been waiting to see. One, I want to see the entirety of the John's League lineup done, and at the power levels they were at during that. And two, like I said, I knew that they were they had a sculpt in mind more than 10 years ago. So yeah. Next up, we've got Raven. Yeah, and yes, this is Raven from Teen Titans. Alright, so Raven comes in at either 65 or 50 points and has the Teen Titans and Mystics team abilities. And she's also got the Teen Titans, Monster, and Mystical keywords. And the Titans Reborn traits, just like Nightwing does. So after a move action, she can be given she can use the Titan team ability as a free action. Alright. Look at the dial. We get 4 clicks of a special power on speed. Traveling through my soul self. Phasing teleport, stealth, 3 passengers. But only to carry characters that share a keyword with her, regardless of whether or not they fly. That gives way to a couple clicks of stealth. On her on attack, we start off with a couple blank clicks, and then we get some penetrating psychic blast, followed by some steel energy. On defense, we open up with super senses, which gives way to inertial deflection, which gives way to regeneration. On damage, we open up with a special power, imparting my soul self to others, perplex, probability control, and support. This gives way to perplex and then outwit. Alrighty. And next up, we've got Bumblebee. With Bumblebee, it's just nice to see a character that a DC size changer. They're not entirely common after all. There's the Atom, there's Atomica, at least recently, and those two are a few years old. I know that I'm pretty sure there have been some other tiny characters, or at least size changers, but yeah. Anyway, Bumblebee comes in at 75 or 50 points, has the Teen Titans team ability. Then she's got the Doom Patrol, Star Labs, Teen Titans, Armor, and Scientist keywords. Just like Raven, she has the Titans Reborn trait. Then we've got on speed a special power, Buzzed Ya. Running Shot is a free action until your next turn. She has hypersonic speed, tiny damage symbol, and damage -1. Okay. Then a couple clicks of sidestep. We've got some Precision Strike, followed by some Incapacitate on attack. And on defense, we've got some Toughness, followed by Super Senses. On damage, we start off blank, then Outwit, then blank again, then Outwit, and then the last HeroClix, she's got Range Combat Expert. And the final high point figure for me, at least that I pulled, Beast Boy. That's actually, I really like the sculpt too. Rather than showing Gar Logan himself, it's just got, you know, two green animals, one kind of going into the other. Though I will admit they could have probably found a better way to show the transformation, the actual kind of, okay, well, we're gonna, you know, how does a bird turn into a gorilla? Anyway, Beast Boy comes in at 60 points, has the Titans team ability. He's also got the Doom Patrol, Teen Titans, and Animal keywords. We got a couple of traits. First off, we got Titans Reborn, like Bumblebee and Raven and Nightwing. Then we've got My parents turned me into a green monkey to cure me. Now here we are. As a free action, choose one animal, and Beast Boy can use the corresponding effects until your next turn. Okay, so Eagle gives him Precision Strike, Flight, and a tiny size ability. Gorilla gives him Super Strength, Quake, and Improved Movement ignores elevated terrain. Octopus gives him Flurry, Plasticity, and the Swim ability. And then T-Rex gives him Blaze Claw's Fangs, Battle Fury, and Giant-sized ability. Then we've got some Charge, some Sidestep, some Toughness, some Super Senses, some Shape Change, obviously, and some Late Dial Perplex. And okay, that's what I pulled from my boosters of my sealed game boosters of Rebirth, presumably speaking, and high points from my case. As always, this is Rock'n'Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.